Jerry, you've only got one shot with me and being part of my company, so do not mess up.
No doubt, Mr. Diadu. No doubt, Mr. Diadu, you won't be disappointed.
We're back and better than ever. Welcome, students of Paris High School, to the National Museum of France. My name is Eugene Schnitzelbach. James Schnitzelbach, to be exact. And before we explore the museum, are any areas of interest to explore first?
Yes, sir. Could you explain to me what the French Revolution was about?
Why, certainly. The revolution was a major change in the government structure of France. It was based on its motto, libertaire, l'égalité, and fraternité. Before the French Revolution, peasants in La Bourgeoisie, otherwise known as the Third Estate, paid the large percent of the taxes, while la noblesse and la clergy paid little of any taxes at all.
Why were the peasants taxed so high?
Good question. Well, France acquired a large amount of debt due to their participation in the American Revolution and used to pay off debt. However, the collectors sometimes kept money that they collected from the peasants. The commoners of France soon began to became aggravated with the corrupt tax system, along with the absolute monarchy government, blah, 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 and especially the failure of crops resulting in food shortages, leading to the French Revolution itself.
Well, what was the king doing when all of this took place?
Interesting observation. You've been paying attention. Well, Le Roi Louis XVI, his name is picture, was married to the Archduchess of Austria named Marie Antoinette Larine, and lived in the Palace of Versailles, built by Louis XIV. While Louis XVI struggled to understand the financial debt of his realm, his wife was hated by many French people, of course, and she was generally referred to as an Austrian whore. While the French commoners suffered from the food shortages, Leroy and Larine ate luxurious meals from which they hoarded food from the commoners, that they would haunt them later on.
So how did the commoners ever get anything accomplished?
Well, you see, during the first meeting of the States General, Leroy would meet with the first, second, and third estates. The first and second estates overvoted or overruled any motion that the third estate tried to make in the meeting.
What did the third estate do to change hands?
Anyway, the deputies of the third estate proclaimed themselves as l'Assemblée Nationale, along with many members of the lower clergy and couple nobles. The assembly took an oath to stand together until a constitution had been created. Later that year, storming of a prison known as La Bastille was one of the defining moments of the French Revolution. The prison only held 7 prisoners and 5 common criminals and 2 madmen.
Why would a prison only hold 7 prisoners?
Interesting observation, but again, well, while the prison only held 7 prisoners, the prison was one of the main artillery centers of France. A mob of men went to the prison and demanded the weapons out of the prison. When the prison governor refused, the mob charged and eventually gained control of the prison, and the prison governor were murdered, and his head was carried on a spike to the French Negroes.
Wow, they really make statement by carrying these prisoner governors head on the spike around the screen.
Indeed it is. And earlier in the year, about 7,000 angry women marched to the Palace of Versailles with muskets and pitchforks, demanding that Louis XVI return all the pen that the king hoarded from the peasants and used for his luxury meals. The women pointed muskets at Marie Antoinette, but spared her life and forced Louis XVI to comply with their demands.
Wow, those women really did take a strong hand against them, like royal.
They really did, yes. Yeah, they did all that after the little deaths like the terror spread over the country of France. Following her husband's death, Marie Antoinette was also murdered by the guillotine. Wow. La Terror was led by a man named Maximilien Robespierre, who was a radical leader and called for the arrest of any persons who were against the ideas of the revolution and freedom. However, when Robespierre called for a new purge in the year 1794, many Les Jacobins opposed him and called for his death by their guillotine and therefore ended La Terreur.
Well, what type of government did France have after that?
I noticed you caught on. Yes. Well, France at first, a government directory, but that was overthrown by Napoleon Bonaparte and his army in coup d'etat and established a consulate. In 1802, a constitutional amendment was made declaring Napoleon our consul for life. Later in the year, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of France at the capital of Notre Dame. However, in 1815, Napoleon and his troops were defeated by the British, Prussian, and Prussian troops at the Battle of Waterloo, signaling the end of his reign.
What happened to the colonies of France and the Revolution?
Good question. Well, one of the French colonies had a revolution of their own. Haiti, yes, was a sugar and coffee-based slavery colony whose slaves in August of 1791 planned to begin a massive rebellion against the French whites. Haiti, however, didn't want any independence from France, but wanted the right to trade freely with other nations in the world due to the fact that many areas wanted sugar. Following evidence supporting that Napoleon intended to restore slavery, Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Henry Christophe led a black army against the French in 1802, forcing them to withdraw from Haiti and completely withdraw in 1801.
Wow, there's a lot. There's a lot more to the French Revolution than I ever knew. Thanks.
No problem, kids. We're free to stop by any time, day or night.
I'm very pleased with your photo show. My people will be counting your agent again.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I forget to set for my union board.